What's up, word warriors? Stop writing a story and be a story. Before I get into today's message, I just want to take a minute to thank everyone who has been supporting me as I come to a close on writing the first book, Revolution, in my I Evolve series. I cannot thank you all enough for your kind words in my Facebook posts, on YouTube. Those of you that have really championed me through this process, it's been very exciting. To date, it is the most humbling and incredible artistic experience that I've had as both an author and an illustrator. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. My older brother, I want to give him a big shout out here. He's the one that gave me a call. It was about 6 weeks ago, and he really lit a fire under my ass. He just said, yo, I want some pages to read. What is going on over there with this novel? And chapter by chapter, him and my younger sister have been reading the story, and I cannot even tell you what having readers has done for my excitement and for the story. And I have actually a couple of other friends that are test reading right now, so thank you to you as well. So what do I mean, don't write a story, be a story? This is something that I've come to now while writing this book. As a writer, oftentimes we plot and we plan our story, so much so that it loses its organic emotion, its feel to it. We don't allow any room for that inspiration to really come through. You know, we'll find ourselves arguing, that's not what I planned. Whereas if we would allow ourselves to just take a step back, to empty out our plan, and let that divine message come through us, it can take very ordinary writing into something that's quite brilliant. But you have to be willing to let go of the plan. So what do I mean by be the story? Stop writing the story. Something happened in the process of me writing this book that's never happened to me before as a writer, and that's what I really want to focus on today and share with you. I'm really excited about it. It has forever changed my approach to writing, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here for me personally. But I want to go ahead and share this insight with you. During the process of writing this book, you know, usually I've got my main character. I enjoy writing from first person. So my main character, you're really inside their head. You really know what's going on with them. And before this book, my secondary characters, which is every other character besides your main character, your protagonist, although they had personalities, they were not as emotionally thought through. They were not as developed. So I've been critiqued that they were flat. They lacked dimension. And what happened during this book is I became so much more of a channel for the story that was coming through me that every action by every character, everything that they said, everything that they were doing within the context of the story, I literally became that character. In the past, I would have that experience with only my main character, where I would release and kind of allow this character to show up and to come through me as I was writing. But I didn't do that with my secondary characters. I was writing. I, the author, was generating their dialogue, their movements. And when I go back and I reread some of my older stuff, here I've got a very manifested and actualized main character, and yet, you know, staged around this main character is a lot of characters that don't have a lot of depth, because I was the one writing them. I wasn't getting out of the way when I was writing their dialogue and what they were doing. So that's what I mean. That's just one instance. Getting out of the way when you show up to do the writing, that you are purely emptying out and channeling from every character's viewpoint, from every scene that you write. It's like you are there. You are a reporter. You are not the generator. You are just reporting what is being sent to you. Taking it even deeper, you can't write what you aren't living, truthfully. You always know when you read a book that really grabs you. It's like, I felt that right here. That's because there is a truth from the person that wrote the book. They're being honest. They're being real. They're living or have lived what they speak of, what they're writing. It has a whole other impact on the reader than when you have some clown over here writing about, spiritual concepts in a self-help book that is not practicing what he preaches. Those books don't have the same impact for a reason, because the author is not being authentic. They are writing a story, but they are not living it. They are not it. They are not being what they are trying to teach you to be. And so during the course of writing this book, I tackled a lot of my own personal baggage that still needed to be released in order for me to properly communicate the things that I'm trying to communicate to my audience. And I found, as I lived those things in my daily, regular life, then I was able to communicate them so much more effectively. I was able to show up with truth at the keyboard and write it in such a profound way, in ways that I would not have conceived of only 3 or 4 months ago. Don't write a story, be a story. If you really want to communicate through the written word and make an impact, then the first impact you got to make is on yourself. And then you have to show up at that keyboard with your notebook and your pencil, however you like to write, and you need to start getting it down while enjoying the process. Be like a child. I've got my writer station, you can see it back here. I've got candles. It's looking out over my apartment complex, but it's beautiful. I've got trees and there's birds flying by. And I've got my temple with my crystals and candles and sacred objects in that room. And when I go in there, I light my candles, and that's my space to channel and to accomplish what I was put on this planet to do. There is no greater joy than doing that. When you begin realizing that you're writing your own life, the magic behind it. Do not sit there and ponder who is going to be affected, how many people will be affected. Does your message matter? Claim that you feel compelled to write. That's why you're watching these videos. And there is some voice inside of you that is not allowing you your pleasure. It is the thing that is blocking you. It is telling you that what you have to say has already been said, or isn't important enough, or you're not going to do it good enough. At a certain point, you have to let all of that go, and you must play like a child. You must write it just to write it, because you have to. And then you must live it in order to write it, and it transforms your life. And you realize that your creative passion is not some selfish, self-centered thing that should be put on the back burner in your life because I can't make money at it, or nobody does stuff like that. What's the realistic outcome to this? You realize that it should be put at the forefront of your life because of the good energy that it brings into your existence, into your paradigm. It isn't about just an end product. That's all well and good. But at the end of the day, my story is affecting me. It is transforming me. And therefore, it will have a transformative effect on others. There is no greater feeling than to be this story as opposed to writing it. I also, one other thing that I want to mention is get yourself some readers. If you've been working on a long time project, you stall out. You need an audience. You know, being a writer is a form of, it's a form of entertainment. You want an audience. You've got to have some readers signed up to read what you're writing. I'm not saying that you need a lot of people to read it, but just a couple of trusted friends, family that are just going to be engaged with the story and really inspire you to keep moving forward with it. I really recommend it. It's completely transformed my experience. So I hope this message finds you all well. And next time you sit down at your keyboard to write, apply this principle. Allow yourself to become the story, even when you're writing your background scenes, your descriptions. Become one with what it is that you are writing, and you will watch a very ordinary piece of work transform into sheer genius. I guarantee it. Until then, namaste and happy writing.